Chases in tests over 250 runs quite obviously favour the bowlers. Anyone can chase under 100. From 100 to 150, it's rare for a team to fall down. At 150 to 200, both sides have a very good chance. The 200 to 250 zone is where it starts to favour the bowlers, and over 250, the chances of you actually winning become very, very slim. People see the magic number as 300, but once you pass 250 with your lead, it's tough. In this test match, England set Australia 281. That is 1 run more than in 2005 when England beat Australia by 2 runs. These chases are just not easy. Sometimes they can seem like it, and certainly at times today, especially when Ollie Robinson is getting pulled to the boundary like a country trundler who was just invited to bowl to his first delivery. In fact, there were so many things that looked like they were in favour of Australia during this chase, like for the fact that when England batted, they pretty much handled Boland and Hazelwood well, but their real problem was the pace of Cummins and the spin of Lyon. Well, England's main spinner is currently reattaching his finger after each delivery. He looks like someone who squeezed a lemon onto an open wound. Just putting the ball in his fingers looks like the biggest pain any man has ever had. And he's coming into the crease with the authority of a plastic bag in an updraft. As for pace, England brought absolutely none of that into this match. Their fastest bowler is Jarrod Broad when the knees-up-o-meter has him pumping very hard. In fact, the only pace that we see from England in this test match at the moment is when Mark Wood is bowling during the lunch interval. Then there is the pitch. Stuart Broad managed to middle a ball at one stage that was fired at 86 miles an hour while he was running backwards to square leg, and it was aimed at his nuts with half a face of a bat. It's a pretty good pitch to bat on, as Jimmy Anderson and Ollie Robinson also look pretty comfortable as well. It's an easy enough pitch to bat on, even if it's not always a great one to score on. Getting out can take some time. And yet, this is an English pitch. And at this point, there have been 3 stumpings and only 1 catch in the slip cordon. And even that one was at gully. From almost the start of the game, both teams have given up on slips outside of the very new ball. But England did actually manage to get an edge into the slips. Khawaja nicked one there, and they were also surprised that no one even thought about catching it. Bairstow never dived. In fact, Bairstow never moved at all. And Root almost seemed to back away. It was going to be very hard to fight for every chance through funky fields, mind games, and pressure on a wicket like this. So when you get an easy one come your way, you want to be able to take it. And lastly, Edgbaston has never been an easy ground when it comes to chasing totals here. That is, right up until last year when England suddenly chased 378 while only losing 3 wickets. It was like they chased it like they were picking up a baguette in some rustic French village. But even when you look beyond that, South Africa had a really good chase in 2008 and Australia's near miss in 2005 as well. So of modern times, batting at Edgbaston in the 4th innings has certainly been a lot better than, the previous 100 years or so. Not everything was completely on Australia's side either. Jeff Lemon tweeted this. So you can see that Australia has not chased a lot of big totals or even middling totals for a very long time. But Australia also seems to bat first more than a lot of teams, and a lot of these chases were actually massive, so they were never going to get anywhere near them anyway. But even so, they don't have a history of being a chasing team. In fact, until England started this whole Bazball thing, you'd argue that no team throughout the entire history of cricket has ever been thought of as a chasing team. Historically, batting in the 4th innings has been terrible. Our pitches were made to degrade, and by the end, making runs as the wicket was actually falling apart, while you also had normal pressure of a chase was too much. But we have seen a huge rise in chasing a test since Stokes and Kusel did it in 2019. It's still around a 1 in 10 shot, but this is the best time to chase down a total that you normally wouldn't want to chase. But remember, all these chase stats are a little bit whiffy. If you're playing in an era when people are making less runs, like the last few years, then you aren't chasing a lot of totals that are over 450 runs, which of course at this stage is unattainable. Chances are more of your chases are going to be between 300 and 400, which are a little bit easier. But there are signs that batting in the 4th innings over the last couple of years has got just a smidge easier. Last year, the 4th innings average was actually more than the first 3 combined. That was the first time in more than a decade. And even the 2 years before that was quite a healthy mark. Of course, this year, it has fallen off a cliff just a little bit. But what does all this mean for this match? Well, Australia have lost 3 wickets, have a long tail, and their 2 best batters are gone. England have got the new ball swinging, but who knows how long that will last, and their lack of pace and a spinner with functioning fingers is obviously going to be a big issue for them going forward. That doesn't even include rain, runouts, Ollie Robinson getting tired. There is so much happens in these kinds of chases, and this test has already had a million different narratives, and the hardest bit is not even half over yet. This chase will be hard on Australia, on England, and hopefully, if it gets close enough, on anyone watching.